Welcome to Marketing Tech. There was a time when the best we could do was track web forms and manually keep track of calls that were coming in. Times have changed significantly. Today, we can use call tracking as a way to determine the effectiveness of our marketing campaigns. So stay tuned for that. Now we use call tracking as a way to measure the effectiveness of our marketing campaigns. We can determine, based on different phone numbers, which campaigns are producing the best results. Now there are many tools out there. In today's video, I'm going to use one called Call Tracking Metrics to show you how all of this works. Call tracking isn't just limited to phone calls. We can also track text messages and the effectiveness of those campaigns as well. These both work together in the same platforms. Makes it so easy to use these different ways of interacting with our customers or clients or patients using text and phone. Call tracking is really very simple. When somebody encounters your brand, whether it's on the web through a website or offline, whether it's on an ad or some other promotion, there's a different phone number in each of those. And when they call that number, it goes through a broker, a call tracking company. And that broker forwards the call on to the number of your call center. That broker records it, tracks all the details about the call, and allows us to use that really valuable, rich data to make good decisions about our campaigns. So how does this work on a website where you would only show one phone number? Well, that's dynamic number insertion. The way it works is, depending on how you arrived at the website, a different number will be presented to you. The way this works is actually quite simple. We place a piece of code on your website, and that code communicates to the call tracking system. Based on how a visitor arrives to your website, that could be through a Google ad or a Google search, a Facebook ad, or standard Facebook, Instagram, it could come through an email, they could directly arrive at your site. No matter how they arrive at your site, that information is passed when the visitor arrives there. The code that we insert on your site determines, based on how they got there, which number to present, and it immediately switches out the number that's already on your site with the new number. The number that it switches out, we call that the target number. And the number that we present, well, we call that the tracking number. We show different tracking numbers based on the source, and we forward those to the target number. Here's an example of some of the numbers that we might use for one of our clients. Now, tracking is not limited just to online sources. Yes, we use online tracking to determine how somebody got to our website, but we can also do offline tracking, and that's even simpler. We obtain a number that is a tracking number for a specific campaign. Maybe that's a direct mail campaign, maybe that's a billboard, something offline where we want to track the inbound calls. We obtain that tracking number, we set up a forwarding number to a target number, set up the number to forward to a routing number, and then people get the calls, and we can track all that. So we can track offline and online campaigns and their effectiveness using the same tool set. Most of the major call tracking vendors, like Call Tracking Metrics, have the capability to interact directly with Google. We can use Google Analytics and Google AdWords to tie to the call tracking system so we can have attribution of the conversions of those campaigns. And we can track that in both the analytics system and the AdWords system. They work so well together that I would encourage you, if you're ever doing any sort of Google ads, that there's always a phone number tied to a call tracking system. Give that person an opportunity to make a phone call rather than clicking on a link. Either way, you have an opportunity for a conversion. For example, on this screen where I'm sharing Google Analytics, I'm looking at an AdWords campaign, and I've set a goal for call tracking metrics, completed calls. This allows me to have insights into the number of completed calls that are occurring during a time period. The great thing about call tracking systems is the majority of them have some form of application programming interface, or API. And most of them also interact with a system called Zapier. Now, I will have a different video on Zapier to get more into the details, but to summarize, Zapier is a way to connect different systems together so that they can exchange data. In this case, call tracking metrics is using Zapier to exchange data with our data warehouse so that we can present that information on a system that we call the C1M app. This is a system that we give our clients access to so they can see how their systems are performing and their campaigns are working. For example, now I'm showing the C1M app and I'm showing one of our clients and I'm looking at all the inbound calls that have occurred. What you'll notice is that I have a way to segment those. I have Google AdWords, email, website, and the Facebook page. These are tracked using different call tracking numbers. When the inbound number reflects that source, whether they arrive to the website through an ad or directly, is reflected on this system so that they know which calls are coming from which source. What makes this even more interesting is all of those calls are recorded. So at any given time, we can just click to play the recording. This has the added benefit of being able to listen to your call center, the people taking the calls, to determine if they're doing the best job they can at helping your prospective client get the answers they need. Are they using the tools you've given them? Are they using great sales skills to help answer questions and then take that prospective client or customer down a journey? Listening to recorded calls makes it so easy for you to determine if that's working well in your organization. The last thing I'll say about integration is because you can interface any of these call tracking systems like call tracking metrics with another system using an intermediary like Zapier, we can feed data from the call tracking system directly into our CRM. Our customer relationship management system may already have contacts in there with phone numbers. I could feed the inbound calls to the CRM and then have a log of that call activity tied into the main system used for my sales and marketing activities, the CRM system. So what does Content First Marketing do? Well, the first thing we do is we secure a new number for each source for our clients, and we do this in call tracking metrics. The next thing we do is we configure call tracking metrics to post to Zapier that call information after the call is disposed or ended. And then Zapier goes through a process of accepting that call information, loading it into our data warehouse, and doing some other follow-up activities. Now the great thing is we do this for phone calls and for text messages. They work the same way. The only difference is with a text message, we may want to include text forwarding. Here's what I mean by that. Say you have a publicly available number for texting. Well, that's not going to somebody's cell phone, that's going to a system. And while you can have people on that system responding to texts, there may be the situation where you want that text to go to a phone, but you don't want that number shared. When we do text forwarding, we take the inbound text message, then we look up to determine if there's a forwarding number, we bundle up that text message, and then we retext that to the other number. This allows us to have a way to move text messages to where they need to go. And it also gives that person receiving the text the flexibility of taking it directly on a phone. And there you have it. That's how we use call tracking to track marketing campaigns. I'm hoping this video is helpful. I'll continue to do more videos on the technology behind digital marketing. Each time covering a new topic. So if there are topics that interest you, please, right now, put something in the comments. I'll make sure we do a video on that topic. If you like what you saw, give me a thumbs up. If you have any questions, more comments, and I'd really appreciate it if you wanted to see more, to subscribe to the channel and click that bell. Again, hope this was helpful for you, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video.